We all know what a Pokemon looks like, but why do we remember them? Out of over 1,000 designs, why do some stay burned into our brains while others just fade away? Welcome to Drawn to the Dex. This isn't a series about stats, movesets, or competitive metas. This is a deep dive dissection of character design. Every episode, we're breaking down a Pokemon to its primary shapes, its silhouette, and its artistic DNA. We're looking for that visual logic, the specific lines and creative choices that make a design work, make it iconic, and make it absolutely unforgettable. And today, we're starting with a Pokemon that is literally drawn to be a deception.
Sudowoodo!
To understand why Sudowoodo works, you have to understand what it's pretending to be. Its name is a play on Sudowoodo, and its design is rooted, get it, in the concept of petrified wood, mineralized stone that mimics the texture of timber. Its name in Japanese is Usoki, which is also a play on words. Uso means lie, and ki means tree, so it's a lying tree. It's also really close to the Japanese word for liar, which is Usotsuki. Now I get why Oda named this character Usopp. Shout out to any One Piece fans that may be watching this, but I digress. In nature, this is called Batesian mimicry. Usually a harmless animal mimics a dangerous one to stay safe. Think of hoverflies that have black and yellow stripes to make them look like wasps to avoid predators. But Sudowoodo does the exact opposite. It's a sturdy, defensive rock type that mimics a fragile little grass type to avoid water type predators. In fact, most players who played Pokemon Gold and Silver know exactly how this design choice played into their first encounter with Sudowoodo. In the games, you come across a weird looking tree on Route 36. At first glance, you think to use HM Cut to get past this obstacle. However, Cut doesn't work on this tree for some reason. Instead, an NPC from earlier tells you to use a Squirtle bottle watering can on it. Water a tree to get past it? Doesn't seem right, but you do it anyways. Then, all of a sudden, the tree begins to attack. So it turns out to be a Pokemon. Okay, looks like a grass type, so might as well use a fire type move to defeat it, except it's not very effective. What the heck is going on? That was probably the first thought a lot of players had at the time. This interaction was the first time in any Pokemon game where the Pokemon design was meant to make you draw all the wrong assumptions based on its looks. And it became such a memorable interaction as a result. Now let's break down the anatomy. If you look at the lines, Sudowoodo is surprisingly minimalistic. It's essentially a long rectangle with rounded edges. The focal points of this design are these green spheres. In the Pokemon world, green plus circles equals leaves. By placing these at the ends of its branches, the designers give your brain a shortcut to say, that's a plant, even though the body is a solid, bark-colored pillar. But the genius is in the expression. It doesn't look like a stoic tree. Actually, it looks like a guy in a tree suit who is terrified of being caught. That nervous, wide-eyed stare gives it a personality that a standard tree monster just wouldn't have. And now we're gonna run a silhouette test. A great Pokemon design should be recognizable by its shadow alone. Sudowoodo passes this with flying colors. Notice the negative space between the arms and the body. Because it's drawn in a Y shape, the silhouette stays clean. It doesn't clump up into a blob. Also, these three-fingered spheres are a unique visual anchor. No actual tree grows perfect balls at the end of its branches, FYI. It's just enough weirdness to make the silhouette iconic. But I know what you're asking. Romsky, why do we love this thing? Why is Sudowoodo such an iconic and memorable Pokemon? Well, avid viewer, it's because Sudowoodo is an underdog, and everyone loves to cheer on for the underdog. Its appeal comes strictly from this visual gap, the difference between what it is, which is a heavy, sturdy rock, and how it acts, wiggling around, all anxious and such. We're drawn to the humor of the design. It's one of the few Pokemon where the art style itself tells a joke. It's not trying to be the coolest or the strongest, it's just trying to fit in. It's doing its best, and that's all we can ask for, and that makes it incredibly relatable. Finally, let's see how Sudowoodo ranks on our scorecard. We'll be grading each Pokemon on silhouette clarity, how iconic and recognizable its shape is, the palette and polish, whether the shapes and colors work together to tell the Pokemon's story, visual economy, how simple or in-depth the design is, and cultural longevity, if it stands the test of time or not. First up is silhouette clarity. And as we mentioned before, it's a clean silhouette that is extremely unique with its Y shape and finger spheres. We're giving this a 9 out of 10. Next is the palette and polish. Simple yet effective use of shape and color gets the point across that it's a visual lie. We're giving this a 10 out of 10. Visual economy. Although its simplistic design was a positive for shape language, it's almost too plain in some sense. We're giving this an 8 out of 10. And lastly, cultural longevity. This Johto staple remains the gold and silver standard for mimics. We're giving this a 10 out of 10. So all in all, Sudowoodo gets a whopping 37 out of 40. That's a solid A tier ranking. But what do you think? Where would you rank Sudowoodo in design and how appealing it is as a Pokemon? And what Pokemon design would you like for me to dig in and dissect next? Comment down below, and until next time, see ya!